Today, we're going to chat about 6 ways to stop feeling like a failure and start feeling more confident in yourself. Many of us feel like we're constantly failing, but the truth is that we can all become more confident by taking a few simple changes within our lives. So stay tuned because I'm going to help you change your life for the better. You can rewire your brain and turn things around and feel more confident in yourself within days. Yes, days. Feeling like a failure is one of those things that creeps up on us. Sometimes you just know you feel like crap, but you don't know why. If you're new here, I'm Laurie from Brain Bootcamp, and I help women in their 20s get their goals without burning out so that they can live the lives that they deserve on their terms. I'm a personal trainer, yoga teacher, and corporate leader, and I know from training hundreds of people in both the corporate and the fitness worlds that your self-leadership and well-being go hand in hand to living a truly incredible life. So like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell because it helps this message of living a truly authentic life out to more people who need to hear it. So we all have an inner critic. You might know mine from TikTok, and she is toxic. She's that voice that tells me everything I'm doing is crap and that people are going to hate everything that I do. She is afraid of failure, so she tries to keep me safe and comfortable. She tells me to eat the chocolate because eating healthy will drain my energy. Don't post the inspirational quotes on Instagram because people will think you're a try hard. Don't go for that promotion, you won't get it anyway. My inner critic keeps me safe by keeping me small, and we all have one within us. So learning to acknowledge and silence that talk helps us feel more confident in ourselves. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with this inner critic. It's actually primal. We are primed to focus on the negative to keep us safe. Negativity bias is the natural tendency for us to focus on negative information more than the positive information. And this makes sense from an evolutionary standpoint, to be aware of potential threats and dangers. That rustle in the bush? Yep, you'd better assume it's a saber-toothed tiger and that we're prepared to fight it. Jumping to worst case scenario was actually really helpful back in the day. However, that primal instinct has not evolved to today's day and age. So now we jump to I'm getting fired when a last minute meeting is placed on the calendar. When we allow our negative thoughts to run rampant within our brains, not only do they make us feel bad about ourselves, but they actually prevent us from living our lives to the fullest. But now you know about negativity bias, so you can overcome it. You are now primed to observe that negative voice. And now let's talk about the practical ways to stop feeling like a failure and start feeling more confident. Number 1, evaluate your expectations. One of the best ways to stop feeling like a failure is to keep your expectations in check. Our expectations are the lens in which we see life through. If we're really excited about something, we're more likely to be disappointed by setbacks. And the same goes for the opposite. If we're expecting the worst, then we're really surprised by the good moments that come our way. An example of this was when I traveled through Italy and France. I'd never been to France, but everyone told me how rude and arrogant the Parisians were. And that I needed to learn a little bit of French because I hate it when I speak in English and not to expect any of them to be helpful. Everyone said amazing things about Italy and how the people are so accommodating and open and that I'll fall in love with Italy. So when I got to Italy, there were some really accommodating people, but there were also a lot of really rude people like anywhere else in the world. Based on my expectations, what did I notice more? I noticed a person who was super rude to my mother when she was asking where to purchase some cigarettes. I also noticed a person who was really rude to me because I tried 3 gelatos and they imitated me by being try. I noticed some Italian guy that shouted something so incredibly insane about my womanhood that my mother actually snapped back at him. But in France, I remember this Parisian man who stopped for us while we were looking at a train map to say, "Do you ladies need some help?" I noticed this random guy in a bar that paid for our bill without telling us. I remember this really cool guy in a dessert shop who taught me some basic French after opening with "Bonjour, parlez-vous anglais?" But are all Italians rude and are all French people nice? Nope, there's probably as many rude people and as friendly people in France and Italy, but I noticed different things in each country based on my prior expectations. So, what are your expectations of life and the people in your life? And most importantly, what are your expectations of yourself? Are they high? Are they low? And what would make them more realistic? Dream big and approach life optimistically, but approach your circumstances with a sense of neutrality. Number 2, 2, focus on your strengths. Everyone has strengths and weaknesses, and it's important to focus on your strengths when you're feeling down about yourself. Identify what you're good at so you can build your confidence. And it can be a useful tool for finding new job opportunities or activities to get involved in. If you're not sure what your strengths are, ask your friends and family for their input, or take a personality quiz online. I'm a massive fan of astrology and personality quizzes. The result in any personality quiz doesn't actually really matter. What matters is the information that you resonate with. People will call you woo-woo or be like, does that really work? But if you struggle to identify your strengths and a personality quiz actually helps you identify your strengths a little bit more clearly, how can that be a bad thing? Personally, I love the Myers-Briggs and the Enneagram and astrology. So let's take a look at some celebrities who are the ENFP Myers-Briggs personality type to show you how identifying your strengths by using your personality type actually works. Some famous ENFPs are Ricky Gervais, Ellen DeGeneres, Gary Vee, Robin Williams, and the character Ron Weasley. I am also an ENFP. So looking at the extended list, there was a bunch of comedians, actors, and politicians, but hardly any scientists. Why? Because ENFP's weaknesses is finding it difficult to focus on the one thing, being disorganized and being restless. They're great comedians and actors though, because they're excellent communicators, they're super enthusiastic, and they're good-natured people. So in this simple example, if an ENFP spends their whole life trying to analyze things and focus on highly detailed tasks, they'll perform poorly and spend their entire lives thinking they're a failure. So what BS story are you telling yourself about being a failure? Are you simply trying to make your weaknesses a strength and being judged for who you're not? Play to your strengths. Number 3, reach out for help. When you're feeling down and like a failure, it can be difficult to pick yourself up. But one of the best things that you can do is reach out for help. This could mean talking to a friend or a family member, by speaking to a therapist or joining a support group. By talking about your feelings and getting some outside perspective, you'll start to feel a lot more confident in yourself and in your abilities. We're really primed to live in the masculine energy, which is getting goals, running from project to project, outputting results, basically being a walking, talking robot. But loads of us forget about the feminine part of ourselves as well, which is nurturing, getting in good food, taking a nice bath, getting 8 hours of sleep, and asking for help when needed. You are not serving yourself, type A's, I'm looking at you, by trying to do everything by yourself. You are not weak for asking for help. In fact, you'll be stronger for it. If you have no one in your life right now that you can lean on, use an online tool for gaining a support network for the tools that you need to start believing in yourself and create the life of your dreams. Number 4, learn from your mistakes and failures. Making mistakes is a part of life. In fact, if you're not making mistakes, you're probably not trying hard enough. The key is to learn from your mistakes and failures and use them as a learning experience to make you a better person. When you're feeling down about yourself, remind yourself that making mistakes is a part of the journey, and it's okay to stumble along the way. We don't expect a child to learn things on the first try. So why are we so hard on ourselves as adults when we don't get something straight away? Actually, even think about the grace and patience that you give to others to learn, and think about how different your life would be if you extended that grace to yourself. We need time, repetition, and good sleep to learn, and mistakes are a part of the process. And yep, sometimes we fail publicly. J.K. Rowling says it is impossible to live without failing at something, unless you live so cautiously that you might as well have not lived at all, and in which case you fail by default. Number 5, celebrate the small successes as they happen. When you're feeling down about yourself, it can be tough to motivate yourself to try new things. It's important to remember to celebrate those small successes because they can help you stay positive and motivated throughout the process. Every step in the right direction is something worth celebrating. So don't forget to give yourself a pat on the back every once in a while. To be able to celebrate the little wins, you need to be tracking your habits. There's loads of ways that you can go about this. Within my goal getting journal, there is a habit tracker within it, but you can also do this by buying a calendar and crossing off the days throughout your calendar, or just using some bullet journal prompts. As an initial way to help you start celebrating your wins, answer this question right now. What do you have in your life that you really wanted badly 3 years ago? Pause the video and write down the answer. Really, pause this video and write it out now. This reflection will have helped you put things into perspective with just one question. Imagine how much you could appreciate your progress and start building more confidence in yourself if you started to track your wins and write them down. Number 6, do more often. The more times we spend in our heads, the more space we give to that inner critic that I was talking about earlier on. She will try to manipulate you into believing that you're not good enough, but she hates action. You crush your inner critic every time you take a step towards your goals. Action creates evidence that you can do something. Evidence builds confidence. And as you build confidence, you gain more momentum. And then it's like a snowball from here. As you continue building confidence, now you're starting to practice new behaviors. And if those behaviors are a part of you week after week, month after month, it starts to become a part of your personality. You're not just somebody who does fitness, you're a fit person. And after a behavior becomes a part of your personality, it becomes a part of your identity. You're not just a fit person, but you hang out with fit people. You can't stand to sit around and talk shit or be indoors all weekend. Being fit is now your identity, and you won't put yourself in situations that don't align with that identity. All started from the act of doing. If you want to feel more confident in yourself, you need to do the things that make you feel confident every single day, even just for a few minutes to start. There are a number of things that you can do to stop feeling like a failure and start feeling more confident in yourself. Today, we've spoken about 6. With a little bit of effort, you can start to feel better about yourself, become more confident in your abilities, and silence that inner critic that makes you feel like a failure. Discover the unique way that you're standing in your own way in the quiz below. This free quiz will help you identify your go-to self-sabotaging behavior, providing you with useful tips to overcoming your obstacles. Go ahead and save this video for whenever you're feeling like a pep talk, and subscribe and hit that notification bell for more adulting wisdom on tap. Until next time, keep shining.